Hey, hi everyone. Welcome to Primary Market Chatter brought to you by Sunday Investing. This is our July last week IPOs edition. We'll be covering three IPOs, Lohia, XtraNet and Indo-MIM, the three Mainboard IPOs, and then we'll also be talking about one SME Silverstorm. We might do one more space later where we might talk about Manipal and Puja Precision because that is also this week, but it was too early and we already had a 3-4 IPOs which would take more time. So we'll do it in second tranche per se, but yeah, for today we'll do these. Before we actually get started, just want to highlight we are not SEBI registered. हम लोग SEBI registered नहीं है. None of what we say is qualified opinion. We can be wrong and have been wrong in the past multiple times. आप अपने financial advisor से बात करके free decision लें. None of what we are saying applies to you because we don't know which situation you are in. We just like to talk about companies before they actually go public, so that we don't have any stake in the game. That is how we usually kind of manage this per se. Second thing, if you haven't joined our YouTube channel, link is in the pinned comments. आप please YouTube channel join कर लीजिए. वहाँ पे ये post भी हम डाल देंगे, so that you can listen to these companies review at your own leisure. Today Rohit will not be present, so it will be Tanmay, me and Sachin will be covering. In terms of we'll start with Silverstorm Parks and then probably go forward. Just setting up Silverstorm Parks for Sachin. Incorporated in 1998, company is an integrated amusement and tourism company operating amusement parks, water parks, snow parks, and hospitality services in India. आदिरापल्ली वाटरफॉल के पास में इनका फ्लैगशिप पार्क है, अम्यूजमेंट पार्क, फेमस अम्यूजमेंट पार्क ऑफ साउथ. In terms of the IPO, it's a 82 crore IPO, all of which is a fresh issue. It's coming at a market cap of 301.6 crores. So, they are diluting like whatever is the minimum required, 28% type, 26-27% जो भी है. In terms of the financials, अगर मैं financials की बात करूं तो company has done a top line of 44 crores in FY26 and a PAT of 19 crores. So very healthy PAT margins. We'll try and understand how sustainable they look. But close to 45% PAT margin. But this is a capex heavy model. So एक बार capex हो जाए तो शायद इतना PAT बनता है क्या? We'll try and understand. And in terms of the LM is Vivro Financial Services. So with that, over to you, Sachin, to talk about Silverstorm. Before you actually get started, we have also spoken with the management. The link is in the pinned comments. You can listen to management promoter interaction as well at your leisure.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes. All right. So, Silverstorm Parks, as you rightly mentioned, this is one of the famous tourist destinations in South India near that Atirapalli waterfall region. So, in the primary location, they have set up they have got one freehold land around 17 acres, and there they have set up this whole theme park where they have tried to create different avenues of entertainment, you can say. There they have theme park. They have also created one proprietary snow park. Then they have also added a cable car, etc. And in and around that region, they have also created forest villages. Given that the location supports all of these different types of entertainment avenues, they have tried to create everything that they can to attract more tourists, and so that whatever tourists are coming in to visit, whatever tourists are coming in Kerala to visit, this Athirapalli region becomes the primary attraction for this location, and there they have made all of these revenues. So Athirapalli becomes the prime attraction for all of these people coming in for a tourist destination in Kerala. So what this company is primarily doing is they have this amusement park where they have set up some, they are trying to offer different types of rides, wave pools, aqua pools, some different family attractions. Then they have also started providing food and beverages in and around that region. So earlier they used to do this food and beverages outside, and now they are doing that in-house as well. So that is adding to the margins that we see in the current years. In 2017 and 2018, they made one new venture for entertainment venture where they created in-house snowstorms, because what their thesis was that South people do not know what this snowstorm is, and the what you say below 0 degrees Celsius they haven't seen those temperatures yet. So let's try and create some different and generally novel idea for South people to create some snowstorm. So that is one thing that they created. And given the Athirapalli region and this waterfall region is mostly based near that Western Ghat region, so there they have created some in-house forest, etc., and cable rope car, etc. For that they have already done the capex, and now that is visible in the financials for this company. Now this all of this similar model they are trying to repeat in different locations in and around India. Like in Jamshedpur, they have already set up this snowstorm in the last year, and from this year they are looking to scale that up. In another region of Lucknow, they are further trying to set this snowstorm thing. So what they are saying that we would not go with theme parks in any of the other regions in India, because that requires land parcel to be present, and that requires more capex than required. And now we are going for this asset light snowstorm thing, and from there we will already likely scale up to other cities as well. So given what their revenues are coming from, like 50 to 60% of the revenues in that Kerala and Athirapalli region is coming from these institutions where colleges, school, etc. These sales guys of Silverstorm are pitching into these colleges and schools, and from there they are attracting what you say repeated clients. Like there is a thing in Kerala that there is or what you can say a general notion or mandate that schools and colleges have to take children to outside and out for sightseeing, etc., for tourism places. So that helps for them to generate more revenues from these institutions. And the rest 35 to 40% is this walk-in crowd. Like in festivals or in the second half of the year, you see more crowds walking in. So वहाँ पे उनका जो भी tourism है, that likely scales up in the second half of the year. So that is benefiting these guys for around 35 to 40% of the revenue. Now around what the revenue structure has changed from the last year, where earlier they used to do this F&B segment or merchandise, etc., that they used to outsource. Now they have started to do that in-house only. So from FY25 and into FY26, 72 to 75% is the ticketing revenue, and the rest is this non-ticketing F&B, merchandise, etc. There is some nearby resorts and banquets, so that is also helping these guys. And now currently what they are saying that we are charging around 650 670 average revenue per user, and they are likely to scale this up to around 1000 plus in the coming years. And that is their first primary target, to scale this to 1000 plus as they grow from Kerala to Jamshedpur to Lucknow. So that is on their business structure overall. Now coming to their financials, from 18 CR in FY24, they have grown to around 43 CR in FY26, and steadily this is around 40-50% CAGR kind of growth. In FY24 and before that, the margins were suppressed because they used to do this F&B segment. They used to outsource that, and in FY25 only they started to do this in-house, and in FY26 also it reflected. So because of that, we see that both EBITDA and PAT margins are 60% plus. But going on a forward basis, if we look at FY27, and when this Jamshedpur and new Lucknow region will come in, they will have their own setup cost in the initial period. So these margins would likely subside, or you say come down to around 60% EBITDA and around 30 to 35% PAT. So that is the sustainable margin figure that will be take forward while valuing this company. Now coming to what these guys are saying, that we would not generally go into generally not go into those regions that are already populated by malls, or there are local regional players that are trying to set up that have already set up their what do you say theme parks and amusement parks in those regions. And we would generally do some market study and region study, and then we'll try to choose those new locations where there is not much of local presence available, and there is ample target, or you can say ample population available who can spend on these entertainment ventures, etc. So that would be the primary locations going forward. Now coming to their IPO usage, it's a pure fresh issue 100%. For around 26 CR they are using to spend on the Lucknow park, which they are saying that they are targeting in the H2 of this year, post Diwali 2026. Construction and all is already underway. Around 15 CR they are spending to expand more into that Tirupalli region, where they're setting up more banquet halls and restaurants, etc. Around 24 CR they are using to repay their debt. So around 30 to 35% will be the debt that is remaining after repayment. So around 45% is the reduction in the debt level. So that will likely contribute to the margins going ahead. So that this is with respect to their IPO usage. Now, what are the positives we look at if you look at this company? That the location advantage, which is visible in that Tirupalli region. So that is one thing, because the sightseeing and tourist attraction is already available, and the Kerala government has recently stated that we would likely create Tirupalli falls like Niagara Falls. Like we would put in night attraction into these falls. We will set up the required capex, etc. So that more tourists come in, and after that 6 to 7 p.m. time in the night, there are more people joining in and visiting this Tirupalli Falls. So that is a natural added advantage for these guys. And they are already pitching into schools and institutions, so that repeat revenue is already built up. They have already started to do food and beverages in housing, so that is adding to their margins as well. And going forward, they are trying, we would likely be asset light, because we are not spending on more theme parks and more land parcels. So that would benefit them going forward. Some of the negatives in this IPO is that the time for break even for this Lucknow thing would be substantial, and we may not see the best of effects in FY27, and FY28 would be the final year where we see the most from this Lucknow parks coming in. Jamshedpur should ideally do well in the current year. So that is one thing. It is a heavily skewed H2 business, like 60 or more than 70%. You can say that it comes in the second half of the year. So that should be kept in mind. Margins will come down from this point. So that I have already told. And now coming to this lead manager. The lead manager here is Vibro. So they are a decent enough track record, and actually they are one of the good guys, if you say, in the SME lead manager positions. Now, if we value this company against us, what you say, Wonderla, because that is the one peer that we see which has actually done well in this amusement park thing. So if you see the general reviews that are present in and around that Tirupalli region, that they generally say that Wonderla is better because they have more number of rides, different rides, the safety features are good. What you say, the variety that you get as tourists, that is more better in Wonderla. So that is one constraint that these guys are facing in that Tirupalli region, and this is likely why they are diversifying out of Kerala, because the hold of Wonderla in that region and in other regions as well in India has been very substantial. So because of that, they are unable to grow, not grow as much fast as we can in that Tirupalli region. Now, given what these guys have done this year, the IPO is coming around at 16 times FY26. And if we assume their historical CAGR, it would likely be around 10 to 11 times in terms of PE for FY27. So it's a good enough range to be in for the kind of business that they're operating in, and not generally going into the capex heavy model. Footfall has been steadily increasing as well, like from 3,500 from the last year. They have grown to 4,500 if you look at that metric. Wonderla, etc., has what you say, double the footfall of what these guys are doing. Around 12,000 to 16,000 they do on a footfall basis. So if you look at this, these guys being in the SME segment, these guys generally are what you say 40 to 50% lower in terms of what the scale of Wonderla is, and that should ideally be the valuation point for these guys. Like Wonderla trades at a good number of what you say. Wonderla trades at more than 36, 37 times in terms of price to earnings multiple, and these guys are if you put a 50% cut to that, around 18 to 20 would be the ideal multiple for valuing this company. Now, coming to the anchor book was a little disappointing for me, like since the issue size is large, not too much conviction was seen in the anchor book by any of the players, like, and the names that we see are not very, what you can say, holding savvy people in the SME segment. So these guys are good, but not generally who like to hold, and they tend to switch into positions quite frequently compared to other participants who have been in the anchor list. So for the final thing, I think that it's a good enough business if you can hold on to it and let that fact flow in that it is a heavily skewed H2 business. So only then only you can get the most out of this issue. And keep in mind that the issue size is large enough and there are other IPOs flowing in, and the sheer number of IPOs that are flowing in is already high. So that should be kept in mind before applying this issue. That's all.
Got it. Yeah, quite a few issues are there, right? So it just becomes tricky. But otherwise, this is a big issue. But otherwise, the company seems decent, right? Like water park business. ये इसका पीयर वंडरला है. वंडरला ट्रेड से 35 टाइम्स.
Uh,
इमेजिका तो नहीं मिलता. इमेजिका को तो नहीं मिलता ना पी इतना.
राइट, इमेजिक का वो स्केल आई थिंक कभी कर ही नहीं पाया. इफ यू लुक एट दैट प्राइस चार्ट एज वेल, इट इज ऑलरेडी डाउनवर्ड ट्रेंडिंग ओनली. So वो scale they never got it. Wonderla I would think would be the best peer because Wonderla is operating at much larger scale और काफी सारी cities में present भी है and they are profitable as well compared to this Imagica etc. But
Got it.
like किसी पे आपको look up करना है तो you have to look at that profitable guy if you are in that region of the amusement park thing.
Okay, got it. Uh, the only worry I see is that यार इनका business जो core business है ना वो तो अभी grow नहीं होगा. Now they are saying that they will do this asset light business of snowstorm. उसका तो experience नहीं है इनको और ना ही geography का है. They have done business in south.
Right. वो
Now
तो
they are saying that they will increase this snowstorm business in north in tier 2, tier 3 cities.
राइट. तो वही मैंने कहा कि लाइक लखनऊ का कितना रैंप अप होता है दैट वुड बी सीन. लाइक केरला में दे हैड दैट लोकेशन एडवांटेज फॉर अतिरपल्ली दैट दे डू नॉट गेट इन लखनऊ और मे बी इन जमशेदपुर. सो वहाँ पे दे आर ओनली रिलाइंग इन दिस स्नो स्टॉर्म थिंग. सो हाउ दे कैन स्केल अप वेल एंड if they are able to scale up well then only it becomes a good enough thing. But that will need time to flow in, right? वो एक्चुअल में आपको रिजल्ट्स देखने पड़ेंगे, ट्रैक करना पड़ेगा etc. So that is one thing.
Got it. That is with respect to Silverstorm. I still think the IPO price should be protected ideally. I'll see on last day how the valuation, how the interest, etc. is, and then basis that take a call. With that, we'll move forward and talk about the second company. The second company we'll be covering is what quite a few people wanted to listen to. Lohia Corp. Setting up Lohia Corp incorporated in 2023. Company is a global manufacturer of machining and equipment for technical textiles, especially for producing polypropylene bags and high density polypropylene woven fabric and sacks. तो अभी जो दो चीजें इसमें, एक तो 2023 में इनकॉर्पोरेट नहीं हुई थी, ओल्डर कंपनी है, कानपुर टेक्सटाइल नाम से कुछ तो है, बट अभी 2023 में डीमर्जर हुआ है. वी विल ट्राई एंड अंडरस्टैंड. एंड देन सेकंड थिंग, अभी नैक पैकेजिंग का आईपीओ आया था विच मेक्स पॉलीप्रोपिलीन बैग्स. वहां जो मशीन से लगती है वो पूरी ये लोहिया कॉप बनाती है. सो एंड देन दे विल ऑब्वियसली बी सप्लाइंग टू क्वाइट अ फ्यू पीपल. फ्रॉम व्हाट आई अंडरस्टैंड दे आर अ लीडर इन this machinery. We'll understand if this is a cap puts play or not. Terms of the IPO, it's a 1,100 crore IPO, all of which is a fresh issue. 1100 crore का IPO है.
Full offer for sale. Full offer for sale.
All of which is a OFS, offer for sale, at a market cap of 4,500 crores. FY26 financials की बात करूं तो 1,700 crores का top line है, 193 crores का bottom line है. So it's coming at like 22 times FY26. LM की बात करूं तो LM is Equirus and Motilal Oswal. So with that, over to you, Tanmay, to talk about Lohia.
Is my voice audible? Because I'm facing
Yes,
some issues.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So Lohia Corp Limited is a 1981 established company based out of Kanpur. So without before starting into the direct business model, this company was started as a joint venture between Starlinger Corporation based out of Austria, which is one of the world's top three technical textile machine manufacturer. It was started, then they had a demerger in 2014, and there was a non-core business which was again demerged into 2024, which I would be coming later. It's a leading global manufacturer of technical textile machinery with a market share of 15.4% in the global woven raffia machinery. So global market share iska 15.4% है, and they have a market share of around 40.7% in India, 40%. Uh, The company supplies and exports to over 100 countries. Their product portfolio includes extrusion lines, circular looms, lamination, coating lines, printing machinery, conversion machinery, multi-filament yarn machinery, monofilament extrusion machinery, recycling machines, and they also supply the related spare parts. If there is some requirement of in some older machines जहाँ पे आपको कोई part change करना हो तो वो भी ये बनाते हैं. They have an annual capacity of 240 tape lines, 13,800 circular looms, and 108,000 tape winders. Their machines are used to serve various applications like packaging. So like there are two segments, for which their machines are used. One is the packaging application, one is the non-packaging application. Packaging in the packaging application, they serve to the segments like cement. Obviously, their machinery is used to serve those segments like cement, fertilizers, grain, polymers, FIBC, etc. And they also, the machines are also helped in some non-packaging applications like, tarpaulin, geotextiles. बाकी there is something like as roof filament ऐसा कुछ तो एक और segment है. So the company has got 6 facilities, out of which 4 facilities are in India and 2 are overseas, out of which one is in US and one is in the Italy. The company holds 71 patents in India, 56 patents in the abroad, 8 design restrictions, and around 54 trademarks. The current order book stands at around 1,358 crores. The company is raising 1101 crores, fully an offer for sale. So the company had already raised 300 crore as a secondary placement a couple of days after the RSP was filed, which had investors like Motilal Oswal, Spark Midas, Family Office, and I guess White Oak also. Coming on the financials, FY24 they did a revenue of 1,166 crores, and EBITDA of 106 crores, and a PAT of 30 crores. In FY25, the revenue grew to 1,377 crores. EBITDA went to like 2.2x to 229 crores, and the PAT grew to like 4x to 118 crores. FY26, the company did a revenue of 1,717 crores, 339 crores का EBITDA and 193.45 crores का PAT. So now a very legit question here comes in कि इनका EBITDA margin 5-6% से कैसे 17% पहुंच जाता है within 2 years. So the answer here is the company has historically operated in those 18 to 20% sort of a margin band before COVID, but post COVID there had lot of disruptions. As their margins had came down, the utilization numbers had went pretty down. That has led to those cut, and that is now ramping up again. And the management believes it can go back to those 19-20% and can even inch up higher as the utilization goes up and the export markets, do much better. So, now there are 2-3 things here, first is how should we measure the growth of this company, So I feel the growth of Lohia Corp is directly equivalent to 2 things. First is the growth in the overall technical textile market, which in India is projected at around 10%. For like next 5-7 years, till FY32, so which is like 6 years. And also more into the capex and expansion for the technical textile players, obviously. So it is actually a direct proxy of the capex and also the technical textile industry. So it is a pure play, cap good sort of a play. They make those very large machines. Even we had visited NAC Packaging that time. We had seen Lohia's machines, and whenever a technical textile company does some expansion, the machinery is surely procured from Lohia, and this is the trend globally. And there is actually a pickup in last 12 months, 18 months toward the technical textile segment as a whole. If you just check their order book, it is around a 1358 crore, 1358 crore order book, which is जिसका execution time लगेगा 9 months. And the Q1 is already done. This is a order book after Q1. So this whole likely should be done in this current financial year itself. There is a Q1 which is already went, which I feel should be around at 500 crore mark. and there would be some spare parts, which would be another 5-10%. So if I just add those numbers, and then again started some couple of new machines, which should again contribute around 5% of the top line. So the number which I could see is around 2000 to 2100 crore in दोनों के जो upper lower band है इसके बीच में कोई number आना चाहिए. And management believes that the margin should inch up to those 20%, but still if we consider 18.5%, the EBITDA goes to like 400 crores from 339 crores, and the PAT goes from 193 to around a 250-260 crores sort, because there is barely any cost below the EBITDA. They have an interest cost of around like 150 crore का debt है, books पे cash पड़ा है, so it is barely 8, 10, 12 crores of an interest cost. That is also a working capital thing, and उन्होंने पहले capex कर रखा है, so they don't need any sort of a capex. If you just blend their utilization, a few of their lines are even at 40%, 30% utilization. Just their extrusion line is at 80-90%. Now, one thing very important here is to know their export operations have actually done very terrible in FY26. Their US entity has bleeded. They have seen net losses. And the capacity utilization in their US plant is barely, I guess, 6-7%, जितना मैं recall कर पा रहा हूँ. So, the management expects they had actually mentioned this in an interview, so it is nothing, it is actually in a public domain. They expect their US operations to go up, the utilization levels to inch up, and those losses getting converted into PAT. So we should expect those margins inching up, the capacity utilizations going up, and the export operations improving significantly. Historically, the company has operated at those 60% export, 40% India sort of a revenue split, which actually has went reverse in FY26, but I feel that should again go back to those 50-50 levels, or slightly higher to those export markets. So, Anchor book was very good, decently impressive. The pre-IPO names, Spark Midas, Motilal, all these are good names. Overall, I feel there is a scope which is left. Just coming on its valuations, 4,490 precisely market cap. On this, it is coming at 23 PE FY26 and 13.5x EV EBITDA. And FY27 it is coming at like 17 P and 11-12 times EBITDA, which is quite cheap for a cap good company. But there is a second thing you should consider is the growth of this company is going to be in the future in that 13 to 15% range, which is going to be 10 to 12% India, and rest would be the export market share which they are going to gain. So you should assume ki FY28 so the growth would be like very muted, 13, 14, 15%, maximum 16%. 27 they should do, I assume, around a 20% growth. But then coming forward, the growth should be more or less in that 15% odd range. So I feel if you just look at all the players except Raju Engineers, which is a different, मतलब वो थोड़ा अलग segment है. All LMW हो गया, Lakshmi Machinery, Lakshmi Machine Works, which is again based out of Kanpur itself, Mamta Machinery, which is into a very mid to low end packaging machinery. Jyoti obviously is a different player altogether than to CNC machines, not comparable still. If you want to consider Windsor is not comparable at all because that is into a different segment. So I feel you can easily consider this company getting a 20-25 PE and around a 15-ish, EV/EBIT multiple. So I easily see, actually it should be much more than that to get 15 to 20 times EV/EBIT multiples. 25 से 30 times PE is very reasonable, and balance sheet is good. Cash generating business hai. Payment cycles are quite good. Global market share, the largest player globally. Now coming on their demerger thing, they have done two demergers. First is they had a non-core, first is like उससे पहले 2022-23 में they had done a demerger of their defense and aerospace business, which is Lohia Aerospace, and they have even raised 100 or 150 crores very recently at some 1500 crore valuation from Singularity, if I'm not wrong. उनका decent defense aerospace का business था जो उन्होंने so this company had already filed an IPO in 2022-23. That time that entity also had aerospace, but that eventually went off. And then there was another demerger done in 2023-24 of some other machinery lines which was a non-core. So that they have made and done a pro forma or say carved out financials of that pure play packaging, technical textile manufacturing business, which is coming to, coming to the public markets. Hence the retail is 10% because there was a pro forma and a carved out financial. Uh, so I feel it is a good bet for short to medium term. There is definitely some scope out there, but on listing gains, I'm not very sure ki will there be some super short term momentum in this company, because ऐसा नहीं है कि आप like for any institution I'm thinking as in that point of view कि यार आप अभी ही लेना है आपको, बाद में भी आप ले सकते हो. There's no hurry in buying it because there's nothing very exciting coming up in the very short term. Like I personally expect Q1 numbers to be on a good note, but still I don't find a reason why they should list at some very great premium just because it is cheap, because there is no short term trigger in the company. It should be a consistent company with that 15, 20, 25% sort of a CAGR, stock price CAGR for like 2 years, and it should grow at that 15% mark, like, as their PAT growth and revenue growth comes in. So it is a good bet. There is a definitely some short term valuation arbitrage out there कि 17 times पे आ रहा है, पी पे 27 पे, तो 20 पे तो 22 पे तो एटलीस्ट चला जाए, तो देर इज अ 20% सुपर शॉर्ट टर्म अपसाइड देयर, बट नॉट श्योर कि वो लिस्टिंग पे आ जाएगा. सो आई फील दिस अ गुड बेट, can be evaluated at decent short to like medium term, but listing in point of view, I'm not sure on this. Is what my final review would be. Everything is quite good. Management is good. The business is good. The market leadership is quite good. Products are good. Ever growing market. There is no shortage of demand in such segment. 95%, 92, 93% revenues of Lohia comes from the repeat customers. Obviously, the orders are going to be lumpy because हर कंपनी हर साल capex नहीं करेगा, but let's say 2023 में कंपनी करती है तो वो सेम वापस लोहिया के पास ही आती है 26 में. So that is sort of a recurring, I won't say recurring, but sort of a predictability of the business. So that's all on Lohia. Decent business.
Got it. And OFS जो कर रहा है, क्या प्रमोटर एग्जिट ले रहे हैं, क्या कहानी है उसकी?
Yeah, सब promoter ही. There is no external investor in the company. Bootstrap है पूरा company.
तो सेम प्रमोटर है जो एग्जिट ले रहा है, कुछ पोर्शन या फिर क्या कुछ फैमिली में?
हाँ, like you are right. I feel there is some family, क्या बोले ना आप उसको, reallocation बोल लो या restructuring बोल लो, which is happening है because they are diluting total में around 1400 upon 45 कितना होता है, 30% होता है, 30% they are diluting slightly around that 30% mark. But if you just check the DRHP, they had filed for 40% equity of the company, which was very surprising. One of the promoters was fully exiting. So I feel there is something on the family which is happening, but I feel whatever I know is that particular family is not directly involved into the day to day day to day operation. So that is why actually IPO is happening for the same reason. They want to do that family restructuring.
Got it. And in terms of like all of these are good PS according to you, right? Like ये
नहीं यार. सो दिस इज अ वन ऑफ अ काइंड कंपनी यार. ममता बहुत नीचे है वैल्यू चेन में. ज्योति सीएनसी इज नॉट कंपेरेबल एट ऑल. लक्ष्मी मशीन भी अलग प्लेयर है. वेंचर तो बिल्कुल ही नहीं है. सो अलग ही कंपनी है. दैट इज नॉट कंपेरेबल. यू कैन कंपेयर इट लाइक किसी से कंपेयर कर नहीं सकते. आपको इसको एक स्टैंड अलोन वैल्यूएशन ही देना पड़ेगा.
got it. And in terms of revenue, like growth, like इसका 2 ही साल का नंबर है, right? Because कुछ तो demerger. I was reading somewhere that
नहीं
इसका
नहीं
तीसरा साल, like FY24, they actually the business had done around 1700 crores. So they used to
करेक्ट.
do something like that, but वो दिख नहीं रहा है, and like the business, if anything, has degrown over 3 years of some 7, 8, 10%.
नो इट हैज नॉट डी ग्रोन. सो जो आपको मैंने फाइनेंशियल्स बताया वो आपको मैंने कार्व्ड आउट प्रो फार्मा फाइनेंशियल्स ही बताया, विच इज प्योर प्ले ओनली दिस बिजनेस. वो 1166 to 1377 to 1717, that is pure play Lohia Corp, and there is some other entity which used to be in 2000 FY24, जो आपको वो 1700 में वो 500-600 का गैप दिख रहा है, that is now out of the business, out of the company.
So ये प्योर प्ले बिजनेस भी ग्रो कर ही रहा है फिर. It's not like it's degrowth.
Obviously, yeah, if you just check 1166 to 1377 is 20% and then another 30%. And now again growing at 20% in FY27. So it is growing. It is growing well.
Got it. That is good.
And there is one more thing here. Now, there is a lot of India and Europe FTA happening, and I feel technical textile is one of those segments which should actually see lot of, growth coming in. So, I feel ये पूरा segment ही थोड़ा अच्छे zone में use हो और NAC. Obviously, it is not a technical textile, but similar segment. Kusamgar getting listed, Garware doing well. This guy coming as a cap good play. So I feel इसमें कहानी बन जाएगी. Like it is a good company to keep. Don't expect crazy returns, but a decent return can be generated in this company as well. And cap goods have historically performed good.
Yeah, because I was excited about the company. I quite like the IPO as well. I'm not sure why it is so
Mhm.
muted, but everything just seems good only, except that the growth kind of tapers off in a year or so, right? But तब
Correct.
तक तो दे देगा ना return. Like it's
Yeah,
cheap
दे देगा
also.
दे
It's
देगा.
cheap also. It's not like it is expensive.
यार आई फील 1.5 साल में 50% बन जाएगा इसमें 1.5 साल में बट ऑब्वियसली इवन दैट इज अ जनरस रिटर्न.
Got it. And uh, pre-IPO जो हुआ था, that was
सेम
good.
सेम
Anchor
प्राइस
also
एवरीथिंग हैज
was
द सेम
good.
प्राइस.
Anchor is pretty
हाँ
good. Right. So
करेक्ट वेरी गुड
I will
लिस्ट.
be applying. Like I don't see a reason why not to apply other than just the GMP being low. It
अरे
is good.
इसमें यही है यार कि वो सुपर सॉलिड लिस्टिंग पे अपना मिले लिस्टिंग के बाद चले व्हाट आई पर्सनली फील लाइक लिस्टिंग के बाद ही चलेगा ये लिस्टिंग पे आई एम नॉट श्योर.
अच्छा ही है. Like I
हाँ
don't see
बट
a
हाँ मतलब
downside.
अच्छा है ओवरऑल. इट्स अ गुड कंपनी और रिटेल भी 10% से तो प्रेशर वुड नॉट बी बियॉन्ड द लिमिट.
करेक्ट. So रिटेल भी 10% ही है, और so मतलब बहुत ज्यादा 40% तो एंकर में ब्लॉक्ड होगा, राइट? So just 600
करेक्ट.
crores will be the free float for some period of time.
हाँ मतलब थोड़ा बहुत हो सकता है यार कि 5 10 15% खुल भी जाए बट या लाइक द व्यू शुड बी टू कीप इट. नहीं खुला तो खुल गया ऊपर तो खुशी मनाना है बस दैट्स इट.
Got it. I would be. It seems like a good company to me from whatever I have heard. And right now, like there were a few reviews who said that the business has degrown. And yeah,
ना
one
ना
thing
ना.
is again like their EBITDA margins have went up quite drastically when their gross margin hasn't went up in the same proportion. Like their gross margin has grown.
Earlier their utilizations were in the 20 to 25% mark only in FY24 which has now actually went to 45 50%.
Hmm.
अब सोचो ये 70 जाएगा तो किधर मार्जिन रहेगा. इट वुड बी 20% प्लस इजीली.
Hmm.
एंड सप्लाई चेन की वजह से भी थोड़ा रॉ मटेरियल प्रेशर इवन आफ्टर ऑल दिस थिंग्स दे आर एट दीज मार्जिन्स एंड द यूएस ऑपरेशंस आर ब्लीडिंग हेविली. तो आप सोचो ये मार्जिन्स कहाँ जा सकते हैं नेक्स्ट 2 years. सो ऑब्वियसली बट तब तक ग्रोथ टेपर डाउन हो जाएगी तो वो वैल्यूएशन मोर और लेस सिमिलर मल्टीपल रहेगा.
Got it. No, makes sense. I would be applying. I think I have made my mind. With that, we'll quickly move forward and talk about the third company. We are running late. Setting up the third company, it's called XtraNet Technologies, incorporated in 2002. This Bhopal-based company is an integrated IT solutions provider, offering end-to-end services such as digital transformation, managed services, proprietary platforms, and then कुछ तो data center का भी view है. Let's see. In terms of the IPO, it's a 167 crore IPO, all of which is a fresh issue. Market cap 664 crores पे आ रहा है. FY26 financials की बात करूं तो 366 crores का top line है, 41 crores का bottom line है. So it's coming at like 16 times FY26. LM की बात करूं तो LM Share India है. Share India has been pretty active of late. So with that, over to you, Sachin, to talk about extranet.
Am I audible?
Yes.
All right. So coming to this extranet. So first I will break down what these guys actually do. Okay, Mainboard में this IT company is coming. So let's say you there is a government department or any other big institution like big colleges or schools, and they need their entire IT softwares and IT hardwares, etc. And for that they need the hardware part as well, and then after that they also need that maintenance part to flow in year on year. So these guys like all of these generally picks up players like extranet From there, they source all of their hardware, servers, and data centers, etc. Given the new AI thing coming in, and from there, XtraNet is getting most of their revenues from these government clients only. So वहाँ पे वो data ये hardware भी provide कर रहे हैं, and then they are already also providing that maintenance services year on year. So that is their two revenue streams that are coming in. So what these guys are saying that around more than 55 to 60% is our revenue from these government clients only. So because of that, the dependence on these government clients is already built in, and there is also a reputation that XtraNet is a good and reliable player into this IT stack segment, and they can provide all of the things that is required for these institutions. Now, coming to what these guys are saying, that we would likely scale up further, and what do you say, cross sell our new segments as well. Like if we just take the revenue streams into pure hardware, so that is around 33 to 34%. Managed services and what these AMC that they provide, that is around 41%. And they have also made some proprietary products and platform, etc. Like they are providing this certifying authority certificates, digital signatures, and they have also got that PKI certificate thing running in via that brand Extra Trust. So those revenues are around 10 to 11% of the revenues, which they are saying that we would likely scale up this proprietary platform of ours going ahead. They have already onboarded around 8 lakh people into this extra trust thing. So that is their prime focus going ahead. And if they are able to scale up that, so that will be the likely differentiator for these players. They are saying that we would not generally focus more on the government, like it's already around 50% of our revenues, and we are likely to bring that down to more 35 to 40%, because the working capital cycle is pretty stretched there. Around 150 to 180 days it takes for the government's payment to flow in, and because of that we see that most of the IPO seats are going into working capital use only. So now coming straight to their financials, from 232 CR in around in FY24, they have grown steadily around 32% CAGR to 365 in FY26. Margins have grown up in FY25 and FY26, primarily because earlier they used to, what do you say, supply hardware from one vendor to another and then sell it to these PSU clients. And what do you say, they did a sort of trading in these components. Later on, they have switched it to providing all of these into in-house, and then also taking the AMC of these hardware components in their revenue streams as well. So because of that, we see that the margins have expanded to a good extent from FY24, and these are the sustainable ones. These guys are saying that 17% EBITDA तो हम most likely करेंगे ही करेंगे, and around 10 to 11% of PAT year on year. Now, apart from 100 CR in IPO, from IPO proceeds for using the working capital, they are paying around 20 CR into from the debt. So वहाँ पे they are repaying the debt, and around 8 to 9 CR they are procuring more hardwares and more systems into their business. So that would likely help them to generate more business for their existing clients as well, and for the new clients that they are trying to pitch in. So they are saying that around 357 is our existing order book, and they generally tend to keep, or they generally tend to supply around 55 to 60% of their order book in around 12 to 15 months. So this 350, I think, would likely be executed in the current year, because forward projections where they are saying that we would maintain the historical CAGR. So 30-32 CAGR को हम अगर लेके चलें तो around 450-470 के ऊपर they are likely doing in FY27. Now the biggest what plus point, if you can say, if they are able to scale up, is that certifying authority proprietary thing that they are brought in, Extra Trust. So that they are registered with the SEBI, also they have got registered, and they have also registered with the Department of Telecommunications. So that is not easily replaceable, because you have to get a lot of certifications, you have got to pitch in a lot of clients, you get to interact with the government, etc. So for that, they have already built up all of the existing ecosystem, and they are looking to scale this further as well. On the export side as well, they are pitching in more clients. Like they have got some orders from Emirates Airline for self-service machines. So that is the testament that they are able to scale domestic operations in around in India as well, out of India as well, and pitching into more clients from export markets. Now, apart from this 10% of their Extra Trust or that proprietary platform or DSC platform, The other 80 to 90% is pure, what you say, general traditional IT hardware thing, like they supply hardware stuff, then they get the AMC contracts for that, and they have good clients with the government tenders, so वो generally built up हो जाता है year on year. So there is not much moat in that segment apart from that 10% thing. So that is a likely differentiator if that can be for this extranet guys going ahead. Now, one thing that I saw in the financials was that they are grown to be cash flow positive in the current year. So itna kuch matlab they could have gone for other modes of funding as well apart from IPO, but let's see, the IPO is here. And further they are saying that because we have now got more working capital needs and more working capital funds we have already gotten, so we would likely be pitching in for more clients and more orders, and they have already built up a 900 CR order pipeline as well, and further around 4500 CR is into active evaluation to help strengthen the current business of XtraNet. In one of the risks that I saw is that there is one small contingent liabilities that are present around 40 to 45 CR, which these guys are saying कि वो they are needed for our general guarantees of their business, like bank guarantees देने पड़ता है, और उसी में we have given it to our close people that are working with us, so we do not see materializing it in any of the near term. And apart from that, the revenue concentration, they are saying that we would generally diversify more going ahead, like around top 10 clients are around contributing around 80%. Like when we are able to scale up those export clients and we are able to scale into more geographies apart from Maharashtra, then we would likely reduce that to around 60 to 70% for the top 10 clients. Now, coming to the valuation part, on IPO price for FY26, it's around, what do you say, 16 times, which is reasonable for the traditional IT segment because 90% to वहीं से आ रहा है, and whatever they're projecting, it would be around 10 to 11 times, which is fairly what you say decent in the mainboard category. Plus ये जो IPO है, it is likely a small mainboard IPO, तो यहाँ पे ज्यादा takers होते नहीं है, which is, if you can say that this is a disguised SME, large SME, and that is coming into mainboard because we have the lead manager of SMEs, Share India is handling as well. And if we see that anchor book, etc. as well, not much interest in the anchor book. Like you see the general names that appear in SME anchor books that are present in this anchor book as well. Apart from that, Taurus Mutual Fund. So, not a quite lot to be happy about considering the anchor book, etc. as well. And there is a general trend I saw in the GMP of this issue as well. Like it was earlier very high, and now it has started to come down to, what you say, 7 to 8% or maybe even lower than that. If we compare these guys, एक और IPO आया था recently. I think CSM Technologies वो एक IPO था. So that also trades around 14-50 times trailing, and it is still below the IPO price. Or forward maybe it is around 10 to 11 times. So that becomes a good benchmark for issues like this going ahead, like where this issue will likely trade in the given course of time. And plus we have bunch of other peers as well that are present in SME only. I would likely compare this XtraNet to SME because SME type ही है, तो I would like to compare this to SME. Like Core to Cloud was one that came in recently. Plus United Data Tech was one SME that came in. So all of these guys generally trade in that 14 to 15 times of price to earnings multiple. So that is in terms of the valuation. These guys have shown big players in the RHP like Coforge दिखाया इन लोगों ने, and some very large player Dynacons etc. So that I do not think are general, or would you say, good peers to this XtraNet. So for the final thing, I think that it's a okayish IPO. GMP going down is never a good trend, to be honest. But keeping that aside, I would still prefer, what you say, Indo-MIM over this. And maybe if I have ample money left after applying Indo-MIM and Silverstorm, I would think of applying this, but not sure as of now. That's all.
Yeah, extra trust looks extra weak to me. IT company, sorry, thanks, no thanks. Doesn't seem good. Should probably be avoided. That is with respect to uh, extra trust. With that, we'll move forward and talk about one last company. This is a company which I am super excited about. and I always like I have tracked this company for quite some time now. So uh, it's Indo-MIM, just setting up incorporated in 1996. Company is a global leader in manufacturing precision engineering components using MIM, metal injection molding technology. Company offers end-to-end solutions including mold design, tooling, finishing, and assembly. Bangalore and Chennai based. In terms of the IPO, it's a 3,800 crore IPO, out of which 500 crore fresh, 3,300 crore OFS. They were earlier supposed to come much bigger, 7,000 crore IPO, but then they cut the valuation into half, which is sad, because we would have gotten a bigger portion otherwise. In terms of market cap is 24,000 crores, 23,980. That is the M cap at which IPOs came. In terms of FY26 financials, they have done a revenue of 4,300, PAT of 533, so 6 times sales and 45 times PAT. Looks expensive at first glance. We'll try and understand what should be the valuation. In terms of the LM is HDFC, Axis, ICICI, Kotak, and SBI caps. So with that, over to Tanmay to talk about Indo-MIM.
My voice is clear.
Yeah.
So Indo-MIM is a Bangalore-based, world's largest manufacturer of precision engineering components using the metal injection molding MIM technology. It holds around 7%, 6.8% precisely, market share in the global MIM market. It is also the largest in terms of capacity as well. Capacity revenue, दोनों में सबसे बड़ा player है. The company manufactures products using the technologies like metal injection molding (MIM), ceramic injection molding, investment casting, precision machining, and metal 3D printing. उसमें भी दो technologies है. One is binder jet and second is laser powder bend fusion. Its product portfolio spans across 5 categories. So there are 5 groups of the products. I'll be explaining each one. First, they operate as defense products, which includes firearm components such as triggers, hammers, sights, magazine catch. ये क्या है बेसिकली आपके जो गन्स होते हैं ना, गन्स में जो वो छोटी छोटी कंपोनेंट्स लगती है ना, वो कैचेस होती है, वो मैगजीन होती है विच इज एक्सपांडेबल बुलेट कैपेसिटी, ट्रिगर होता है जो जिससे आपका गोली चलता है, वो हैमर्स होता है. तो उन सब का जो ये बहुत मिनिस्कल छोटे छोटे पार्ट्स होते हैं गन्स के एक्सपेंडेबल पार्ट्स वो बनाता है. The second product group they have got is aerospace products. In that they manufacture manifolds, precision housings, adapters, tees, servo motor housings, nozzles, locking rings and clevises. And they also make brackets. These are fairly complex products which go into very high-end aerospace applications. The third group they have is medical products. They make components for a range of surgical devices which are used across endoscopy, laparoscopy, dental robotics, and orthopedics, such like jaws, cartridge base adapters, sound tubes, blades. The fourth group is automotive, in which they make components for vehicle safety, fuel systems, powertrains, interior applications, vanes, for turbochargers, which are another critical component. The fifth segment they operate is the consumer. They make housings for ovens. They make pipe clamps, 3C parts for mobile phones, latches, and cams for connectors. Indo-MIM's consolidated equipment across plants includes 200 MIM machines, 45 big-size batch furnaces, 5 continuous furnaces, and out of those 5, 3 are among the world's largest, continuous furnaces. They have also forayed recently into metal 3D printing technology, and it is one of the first players to deploy the desktop metal production system and also the world's first metal 3D printing system for mass production. Uh, the company also has got a successful track record of acquiring multiple companies, out of which they acquired Trax Industries in FY21, which is into investment casting solutions for industrial and aerospace applications. They did an acquisition in UK, which was into MIM products and 3D printing, predominantly in the European markets. They acquired the company called as Phoenix Ventures, which was into medical device designing and development procedures. So they also recently did a JV with Offlex Company Limited, which is a South Korea-based company which intends to operate in the specialized production and sale of foldable hinge modules in India and as well as other locations. The company is raising around a 3,800 crore, out of which 500 crore is a fresh issue and precisely 3,312 crore is an offer for sale. The out of 500 crores, 400 crores is going towards a debt repayment, and rest would go into the GCP. The company is fully bootstrapped. मतलब yes, आपको promoter holding में थोड़ा कम दिखेगा. मतलब 95% raise they have given it to IIT Madras as a gift. So it is not basically a fundraiser. It is just a form of gift. So it is a fully bootstrapped company. There is a parent entity corporate promoter called as Green Meadows, which is based out of Mauritius, which is owned by the father of Krishna Chivakula. So there are two promoters. One is the main Krishna Chivakula, and the second is Krishna Chivakula Jr., who is also called known as KJ, who is the person you're looking in the interview. So his father's corporate entity is based out of Mauritius. So this is on the fundamentals part. Baki coming on its financials. FY24 they did a revenue of 2,870 crores, EBITDA of 743 crores, crazy margins. PAT of like 284 crores, around a 10% PAT margin. FY25 they did 3,330 crores of so this is an operating revenue. This is it doesn't include the other income. And a bid of 933 crores and a PAT of 424 crores. FY26 they grew by another 20% plus to 4193 crores, 1,071 crores of an EBITDA, 533 crores PAT. So I feel they had acquired a company in FY26 or 25, if I'm not wrong, which is yet to get consolidated. So, like I've made my own estimates, and like you need to also understand that the global MIM market is expanding at like 12-13%, and you can assume कि being an Indian player and being the largest player, it should grow at like 15-16 odd percent. You shouldn't expect it beyond that. And just that acquisition should add some more numbers. So it should do like 4,850 crores sort of a top line, 1,350 crores sort of a EBITDA, and 700 crores sort of a PAT. One might ask here ki, like, why have you considered the EBITDA margins growing from like 24% to maybe sorry, 8 minute. I'll just check the exact number. Yeah. So for like 25% to like 27.5 to 28%, the answer is very simple. FY26, they saw a very high growth into the consumer applications. It's actually a low margin business. And the company expects their high margin segments like defense and aero to contribute much more in the growth than the other product groups in FY27 as well as FY28 which should take those margins to back to the 2000 FY23-24 levels, which were like 27-28%. So I have considered 27% margins here, and there should be some sort of a 20-30 crores interest cost saving, and then the utilization wrapping up. So the utilization currently stands at like 45%. As this grow higher, the efficiencies and expansion of margins is going to come in. So like looking at the fine valuations, like it is coming at I would say around a 21-22 times EV EBIT, and like 45 times PAT, the number should come down on FY28 basis to maybe कितना हो जाएगा ये, around 15 times हो जाएगा, 15 times EV EBITDA, and around 25 times PAT. So I feel it is a one of a kind company, not in India as well as globally. Insanely great capabilities. You just go and go in that region, in the Bangalore, and they are just going to say हमको जिंदगी में कुछ करना है तो हमको Indo-MIM बनना है. So this is that role model company in Bangalore for all this aerospace and defense components companies. So industrial corporation is what I meant. So one of a kind company, extremely high quality promoter, extremely high quality management. You just look at the manufacturing procedures they have. So that MIM sort of a technology is driven from those metal powders which are imported and very costly. So so like the wastage is much more than the output, net output. So it is not an easy procedure that anyone can come and establish and make it. First of all, it is a extremely high entry barrier business. Baki, the cost efficiencies and those technology and all that, how those metal powders should be integrated, what should be the composition, and then that you go into that investment casting and ceramic molding thing is not easy at all. So it is a one company. So I feel it is a blind buy, and I feel hottest IPO till now of this year. So like love होता है ना, love at first sight, वो type का company है ये. Must apply, and good portfolio company. मतलब I see this doubling within like maybe a 15 months. It should double from the issue price is what I believe.
Got it. Thanks, Tanmay. I know whom you referred to when you said that people look at this
Yeah.
company and they say that this is the company we want to be. But yeah, one of a kind company, very good capabilities. Their margins should ideally increase this year because they said that they'll do more defense and aero and less consumer. Consumer is where a lot of problem is from my understanding. Because maybe we consumer drags everything down, right? And uh, but my point is, how do you compare it? Who would be a right peer? Because see, Azad would not be a great peer, right?
ये
Azad is
बहुत
a
अलग
lot
segment है,
more
very
complex,
different segment.
lot more complex. This is slightly easier, right? Not easier, like slightly more less complex to Azad, right? In
No,
terms
no,
of
no.
defense and
I'll tell
aero.
you. I actually slightly differ here. These are very different business segments as well. So we just look what Azad is doing. Azad is working on two, three very large product groups in which it has got its mastery. यार वो turbines बनाता है, blades बनाता है उसके, which is like in India no other company can do. But वो उसके beyond नहीं है. There are specific product portfolio जिसमें it has got its dominance. And basically, this company is into some other products जहाँ पे इसका भी dominance है, and the volume is quite large. End of the day, we know Rolls Royce का एक procurement का limit है. इधर there is no limit, because I feel end of the day, these slightly less mission critical segments are also going to come into the MIM tech, as the other companies want to work more on the quality and the performance of the product. So eventually the TAM in the MIM segment is also set to expand. Whereas Azad is riding on that supply chain shift, which is happening, from like Europe, US to India, and even from China to India. So these are very different comparisons. So I don't feel they should be, kept in a single basket.
Got it. And then you said 21 times EV EBITDA. मेरा तो 24 टाइम आया था जब मैंने किया था, तो 24 टाइम नहीं
अरे
आया
नहीं,
EV
वो
EBITDA.
बुक्स पे कैश भी है ना, आप उसने उसको वो कैलकुलेट नहीं किया होगा आपने.
अच्छा,
हाँ, 300
got
400
it.
करोड़ का उधर
21
डिफरेंस है.
times. How much does Omnitech trade at?
ओमनी टेक तो यार अभी 2.5 हो गया इशू प्राइस. जस्ट गिव मी 30 seconds, आई जस्ट चेक इट. बट यार अगेन, ओमनी टेक इज इनटू ऑल दैट ऑयल एंड गैस सॉर्ट ऑफ अ पोर्टफोलियो. उसका 70% ऑयल एंड गैस से आता है.
So
नन कोई कंपेरेबल नहीं है.
Omnitech trades at. I'm
मैं
opening.
मैं
Where does
देखता हूँ.
Omnitech
30
trade?
टाइम्स FY27 EV.
Omnitech trades at 40 times.
26.
This guy is at 21 times, right? And this is a better business than
नहीं, बट
Omnitech.
उसका ग्रोथ भी ज्यादा है टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट. अगर आप इसको 28 पे देखो तो दैट इज ट्रेडिंग एट 25 टाइम्स, एंड दिस गाय इज कमिंग एट मे बी, हाँ करेक्ट, कम ही आ रहा है. बहुत डिफरेंस तो बहुत है.
So there is enough space.
मच मच
Legit.
इनफ, लेजिट स्पेस.
I would definitely like. This is the company to look up to.
इसमें बैठ जाओ इसकी गाड़ी में ना. मतलब यार 5-7 साल बाद यू नेवर नो, 1.5 लाख क्या मार्केट कैप पे खड़ी होगी कंपनी, यू नेवर नो.
वन क्वेश्चन इसमें इंडो MIM में, एंड पॉइंट टू एड्रेस कि दे हैव क्वाइट अ लॉट ऑफ, क्या बोलते हैं, एक्विजिशंस हैं उन, और भी दैट इज लाइकली टू, मतलब वो कन्वर्ट करने वाले इनटू फाइनेंशियल. सो उनका गुडविल का देयर इज ऑलवेज अ ड्रैग डाउन, राइट? गुडविल का इम्पेयरमेंट होता है एंड देन दैट ड्रैग्स द मार्जिन्स. सो वो इस ईयर में इफ दैट इज रिपीटिंग, या मतलब दैट इज लाइकली टू टर्न टू बी गुड, लाइक
यार
इम्पेयरमेंट
इनका
का
वो
रिवर्स.
50-100 करोड़ हर साल का एडजस्टमेंट है ही, मतलब एक्सेप्शनल आइटम्स एंड गुडविल इम्पेयरमेंट वो है ही. बट लाइक जो नंबर शायद मैंने लिए, दीज आर एडजस्टेड नंबर्स इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग.
राइट, सो इनके ऊपर अगर आता है तो दैट इज एडेड एडवांटेज.
हाँ, बट अभी ये भी बात है ना कि इसकी अभी ये साइज इतनी बड़ी हो गई ना कंपनी का, और इतना बड़ा बैलेंस शीट एंड पीएल है, तो उनको वो उससे फर्क नहीं पड़ता टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट.
ऑलराइट,
वो जो अदर इनकम था उसका रीजनिंग दिया था यार, जो इसकी कॉल में अटेंड करी थी। सो अदर इनकम का रीजनिंग था कि आ, एक इम्पोर्ट एक्सपोर्ट में उनको कभी पहले जीएसटी का पेमेंट वापस लेना पड़ता है, ऐसा कुछ है उसका रीजनिंग, बट दे इट विल कंटिन्यू, इट इज नॉट रियली अदर
हम्म।
इनकम एज सच। सो उन्होंने दिया था इसका आंसर, आई रिमेम्बर।
करेक्ट।
हाँ,
और इसमें एक और मेरे
चल।
को मेंशन करना था रिगार्डिंग मार्जिन। इन्होंने FY26 में नया ट्रेडिंग भी की है 6-7% रेवेन्यू की, विच इज एक्सपेक्टेड टू गो डाउन बैक टू दैट 2-3% मार्क, एंड वो 3% कोर ऑपरेटिंग रेवेन्यू में जुड़ जाएगा, विच शुड एड दैट 1-2% मार्जिन एज वेल। तो दैट इज
राइट राइट
अनदर स्मॉल पॉइंट।
15% है ना
ना ना,
ट्रेडिंग इस बार?
8%, 7% जितना मेरे को याद आ रहा है,
अच्छा,
7%, 6.5।
इट इज हायर देन
हाँ,
नॉर्मल, आई
3%,
रिमेम्बर
दो
दैट।
परसेंट नॉर्मल है, अब ये 6.5 हो गया, विच शुड अगेन कम बैक टू दैट नॉर्मल लेवल्स।
And their customers, consumer segment should
नो,
reduce.
दैट शुड बी
Defense
स्टेबल।
aero
नहीं,
should
इसमें क्या
increase.
हुआ है, द परसेंटेज ऑफ द रेवेन्यू फ्रॉम कंज्यूमर हैज एक्चुअली वेंट अप इन FY26, जो शायद उधर ही रहेगा, और डिफेंस एंड एरो विल गो बिग। सो जितना मैं जानता हूँ, कंज्यूमर इज अराउंड एट 15-20% EBITDA, वेयर एज एरोस्पेस इज 30-33% सॉर्ट ऑफ एन EBITDA बिजनेस। तो एज दिस गोज अप, द मार्जिन प्रोफाइल गोज अप।
Got it. Yeah, I would be applying in terms of there are quite a few questions with respect to subscription, expected subscription. People are saying 12 times BHNI, but I think ज्यादा होगा है,
more
and
more than
somehow
that.
लोग आ जाते हैं आखिरी में,
15
पता नहीं कहाँ
आनंद राठी का
फंसते हैं।
15
मैसेज
plus
आ भी गया है तो, और तो
15 प्लस आराम से।
को मैं चेक करता हूँ, मेरे को क्या लग रहा है।
हाँ, 15 प्लस लगता है मेरे को भी, बट या विल ट्राई माय लक। रिटेल शुड बी लोअर, रिटेल शुड बी लाइक आई थिंक 7-8x एट बेस्ट।
हाँ, रिटेल 35 विच इज गुड। 10 होता तो सबका मूड बड़ा खराब हो जाता है रिटेल्स का।
ये मणिपाल में 10 है ना, बट अभी मणिपाल में लोगों को बात ही नहीं करनी है, they're like, oops, इतना सा GMP। आई लाइक मणिपाल,
मुझे भी पसंद आता
गुड
है।
बिजनेस, वेरी वेरी गुड
बहुत
बिजनेस,
डिस्काउंट पे
वेरी
है,
वेरी गुड।
सिग्निफिकेंटली डिस्काउंट।
I think it will work, but yeah, I hope GMP remains muted. Let's
इवन
see.
एमवी इज
That
इंटरेस्टिंग कंपनी विच शुड बी द टॉक ऑफ द टाउन नेक्स्ट वीक, आई अज्यूम।
वो तो नेक्स्ट वीक करेंगे
हाँ,
ना।
एमवी में मजा आएगा सबको। आई आई नो फाइनेंशियल देख के क्या लग रहा है, लाइक व्हेन आई एम गोइंग टू स्पीक, एवरीवन इज गोइंग टू सी, द माइंड इज गोइंग टू बी ब्लोन कि क्या बात कर रहा है ये।
Got it. That is with respect to today's episode. We are almost towards the close. And did you see कितना सब्सक्राइब होगा? Just this last question. Do मैं जितना भी हो यार लगा नहीं है मेरे को तो. I hope. Let's see. With that, ending today's episode, we'll hopefully see you in mid of the week. If we don't, I will be applying to Manipal. And
यार
I
नेक्स्ट
will
वीक मैं तो
also
बाहर
be
हूँ।
applying to Puja Precision. Like without a doubt, दोनों कंपनी में लगाने तो ज्यादा कुछ फेस करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. But yeah, let's see.
Two things. One is we are going to do a series of interviews coming in. Silverstorm is posted. We would love if everyone goes and watches it. We are going to post one more today. Then there should be another 2 or 3 coming next week. And we are likely to do one more Mainboard also. And second is it won't be easy for us to do the next page, because at least I am not, and मैं थोड़ा ट्रैवल कर रहा हूँ. आई गेस देयर इज वन मोर पर्सन हु कैन डू द सेम. तो देखते, बट वी वुड लाइक, वी वुड try our level best to do the space for the next week also.
Perfect. Just again want to highlight that we are not SEBI registered. None of what we say is a qualified opinion. आप please due diligence करके ही काम करें. Thank you so much everyone. Have a good night and bye.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you.